I love all people.
Yeah, I love all people. How's it going? Oh man, so we've had a few ramble videos this month, and I got some things on my mind that I don't mind rambling about since these seem to be quite liked, or even maybe heavily liked. I might do this in a few separate parts because I don't have any just one big topic to discuss, just a bunch of little topics, something kind of interesting. I do plan on maybe making these in the future with other YouTubers or maybe even streamers. I don't really care which one. Doesn't matter if they're small or big, I don't really care. So the first thing I would like to discuss is there was recently a pretty big death on the hardcore list. Rest in peace to Lake. He was the first hardcore to get the Inferno Cape. And what's also more impressive about it is that he made his hardcore a little bit after I made mine. So, 5-6 months after the release of hardcore. And all the pussy hardcores still did not have an Inferno Cape. But made his months later and still got it first. That a boy. And he died basically the same way Bodhi died. It was a DC, but it was his internet, I believe. It wasn't the game. But, same thing really. It's something that's out of your control. And I saw a tweet made by Sween, which, even he knew was going to be a little controversial. Let me get this guy's way. I don't really know why I did that. It's just, anyways, back to topic. These are obviously live, so, I'm not doing a voiceover. So, I'm doing mining on my other account, and currently I'm crafting on the Ironman for RS3. Who cares about that RS3 shit? Okay, so... I'll put it up on the screen right now. Floodgate's still open, I'm sure, but in light of Lake's recent hardcore Ironman death, what are your thoughts on something like Divine Coin and Old School? Now, if you guys don't know what this is, I believe RS3 Hardcore has this. It's basically something where you can buy up to 3 lives on a hardcore Ironman. So if you die once, you're good. You die twice, you're good. The third death, you lose your hardcore status. And this is something that wasn't really even polled on RS3, just kind of came out with it, which is funny because RS3 has great servers. They don't really ever DC, so if anything, Old School should have had this technically when it comes to disconnections. I'm not sure how I feel about this with Old School. Old School's kind of always had that prestigious type of thing where it normally is a bit harder than RS3, right? This is something that's on RS3. And first things first is if this was ever to happen, I would hope that it would have happened at the beginning of hardcore, not in between when a lot of people have already died to disconnections and shit. But it made me think of something else that would be really interesting, and it seems like it'd be very easy to add to the game. Probably little to no engine work. I don't know exactly how the hell engine work even works, but my idea that I just randomly thought about now would be maybe adding a death counter, kind of like the Wilderness has, your kill-death ratio. It tracks it for you, I believe. That'd be interesting if they ever added something like that to just all accounts, not just hardcore or regular Ironman or just, main accounts even in general, or even ultimates, which would be hilarious because, I guess then you can make an unofficial hardcore ultimate Ironman. That's such a long title, god damn it, nerds. But basically, maybe the guy in Lumbridge, Hands or whatever, could keep track of it, or maybe someone that would be follow more of a lore or something. Who in this game resembles death? I don't really know. But anyways, maybe there's a little sign at every single death spawn where it would show you how many times you've died and your last death and whatever it could be. That way, if you were to have a death on a hardcore, you would be in regular Ironman, but it would show just one death. And then, maybe 3 months from then, you do a lot of PVMing, you never die, and it shows just one death still. So that'd be something kind of interesting that wouldn't really mess with anything to do with hardcore. It wouldn't mess with anything at all. It's just kind of a nice little thing on the side. So I guess you can kind of test yourself, even as a regular account or an Ironman, how many times you would die doing, anything risky. And be kind of interesting. I mean, it's kind of weird that it would be implemented now. You would obviously want that to be something that would be tracked at the start of your account. But I guess better late than never, maybe. It would give maybe Iron Man a reason to maybe try to not die so often and just see how they would cope with maybe becoming a hardcore one day if they ever wanted to try that out or something. But I don't know. I feel like if I was to die in a hardcore, this account right here, still hardcore by the way, a lot of PVMing by the way. I'd go and get the PvP arm, or the PVM armors, PvP armors. Ha! You wish, PKers. But I would probably try to keep my deaths at a very, minimum. I wouldn't want to go out there and just die nonstop. I wouldn't get pissed if I died, but I would try to make little to no mistakes while doing anything still, without the thought of, I would lose my red helmet, obviously. So it'd be kind of a little bit less stressful, but you would still kind of compete with the whole, don't die type of thing. So it'd be kind of interesting. I don't know if they've ever thought about that, but when I saw that tweet, I kind of thought, maybe this would be kind of cool. These fucking dragons on RS3. Seriously, RS3, like, this is like, nah. Like, look at these dragons, dude. I'm gonna have to hop worlds, because this piece of shit decided to have a huge dragon in my face, flapping its fucking wings. Sorry, Octave. RS3 just fucking triggers me sometimes. But yeah, as far as adding, divine lives or coins or whatever at this point, probably way too late. But would have been probably something to poll maybe when hardcore came out. Very easy way to make the poll not pass would be, would you guys like hardcore Ironman and old school to be the same as RS3 where you have a bunch of lives? Just stick the name RS3 in there and it will not pass the poll. Would have been like, hell no, we don't want it like RS3. Whereas if they didn't add the words RS3 in there, it might have actually passed, who knows. But I prefer it the way it currently is, I guess. I still have a big issue with people DCing and dying. That's pretty much the only thing that really puts me off from doing any PVM, really. I'll do any PVM where if I DC, I should be alive still. I don't have an issue with that. But risking it all the time to something that is out of your control, it's a shame. So, yeah, rest in peace to every single hardcore that has passed away due to a disconnection or power cutting out, or anything like that. Something that's kind of interesting, actually, is I bought something like 3 months ago. Let me see what it's called. Yeah, it's called like a cyber power. It sounds weird. It's not like cyber sex. It's cyber power. It's kind of like a generator almost, I believe, but for like your computer sort of. I don't know too much about it. I just know that someone recommended it for me, especially if you're hardcore, because if your power cuts out, your computer will turn off. But if you have this thing plugged in, you can plug your computer into it, and it has like an 8-hour bat, depending on like which tier you have, basically. The more expensive, probably the longer the battery is. So if your power cuts out for like a second, which happens a lot to me, happened a few times while doing Slayer, which isn't a big deal, but it definitely puts me off from ever wanting to touch PVMing, because that would definitely be a death. Yeah, it's something you buy. It has like anywhere from like 4 to like 8 outlets on it, and of those 8, 4 of them have like a battery behind them. So if your power goes out, there's like an 8-hour battery that kicks in once the power goes out. So kind of interesting. It almost looks like a tower, like for a computer, but it's just much smaller. And I believe it has like the internet cable in there. It has everything. I have not yet set mine up, but I do have it, and it's just been sitting there for about 2 months. I'm kind of an idiot for buying it and not using it. What a fool. And yeah, I believe it also keep your internet on as well, I believe. So, like, everything should still be good. If it's not the internet, then, well, I guess RIP. But there are times where my computer just completely restarted because the power in the house went out, or in the area even, and everything turns back on for, like, within, like, a tick. And I'm not even kidding. Like, literally an IRL tick. And, it just kind of sucks because you have to restart your computer. And, if you were doing anything dangerous, you might be dead. So, little tip for any hardcore that, might one day want to get something like that. I haven't plugged mine in yet, like I said, but I did buy it. It was like an investment almost. It was like, do I die on my hardcore without, any way of saving myself? Or do I spend like $150 or $200 to get something that might prevent me from dying, I mean, the way I looked at it is, would I like to die on my hardcore due to something like this, or spend $200 and make sure that never happens? So that's the way I looked at it. And yeah, I never used it yet, so that was money well spent. I will use it soon, though. So, something else that I do get asked a lot is, why did I make my hardcore a whole lot later than when it was first released? Quite frankly, I wasn't too interested in Ironman in general for old school, because from what I remember, it was based on killing Zora. If you made an Ironman, you would have to do thousands of Zora kills to get max total, and if you want to go for post 99, you would have to do even more Zulrah. So it was like just Zulrahscape. It was Zulrah for cooking, farming, I think even a bit of herb lore, just a bunch of shit. It was just based around killing Zulrah. And I wasn't really a fan of that. I mean, make an account and get most of your stats maxed by doing one boss. I don't know, I wasn't the biggest fan. I also don't even know how to kill Zulrah, so that put me off even more because I'd have to learn. So I was just kind of like, nah, not really in the mood. Or back then you'd also have to kill it for runecrafting because we didn't have Zeah runecrafting back then. So I was kind of like never really intrigued. I was like, screw that, dude. Killing thousands of Zulrah just for the PRS. It just wasn't really my thing. So obviously over time it got kind of more devalued. We got Zeah runecrafting, Zeah Slayer even, I guess, with like the catacombs. All that stuff really adds up over time. But yeah, Zeah runecrafting was a really big hit for Ironman. It was probably one of the most devaluing things. Maybe even, well yeah, fire making too. Fire making used to be Zulrah as well because the magic logs. And did it drop U logs? I don't even know if it did or not. I think it was mostly magics. If there is any U, I don't think there is U logs. Pretty sure it's just magics. But yeah, you do it for fire making too, and just so much shit would be from Zulrah. So I was like, no thanks. Once they had a winter tot, alright, you don't got to do it for fire making anymore, that's cool. And then, you know, Zeah runecrafting, you don't need PRS anymore. And so on and so forth. And now it's just mostly, people just do it now just to keep up with their scales, or just to do some tree runs. You know, they do like for some papayas or calquats and things like that. Just to upkeep with those runs, which I don't even do on my account because I don't have a way of getting those. So I was going to make my Ironman, not the RuneFest that we had in 2017, but 2016 RuneFest. The first RuneFest that I went to, Jagex was kind enough to invite pretty much a lot of their creators, Twitch and YouTube. There was probably about 15 of us there or something. And they were all old school players. And I mean, I played old school too, but I was making RS3 videos. I wasn't streaming any old school. All I was doing was AFKing Redwoods at the time on my main account, you know, which is the one down here. Though out of everyone that was there, I did have the best old school account. This account was like 1.5 bill XP or something, but I just didn't really even advertise that I played it because my videos, it would just be like a woodcutting a Redwoods video if I made an old school video. So I was just uploading RS2 at the time and just playing Ironman there. So I was like the only person there that was like RS3. I was like the RS3 kid, that fucking loser kid. And like half the people there were all like old school Ironman. And you know, once you talk to them a little bit, you kind of think, you know, maybe I should do this for my YouTube, be kind of fun. And to be quite honest with you, this is like jumping to another topic. I will say this, and it's not like the nicest thing to say, but it's true. Doing RS3 videos really, like, it almost killed my channel. It wasn't something I looked at too closely or cared that much about. I've always done things that I've enjoyed doing on my YouTube channel. Even though I know doing this would get me more views or doing this would get me more views, I just kind of stayed away from things I didn't really find myself enjoying that much, where I could do it for a long period of time. But I looked at my statistics from my YouTube channel, and like a few months in a row, I was getting like 200 subs, which is so little when you have 100,000+ subscribers. And then as soon as I started making old school videos again, it jumped to like almost 2K a month. So that's something for a lot of other creators maybe to look at maybe. Which, like I said, it kind of sucks to say that because that's like no advertisement for RS3. But it almost killed my channel. And that's kind of crazy. I'm actually looking now, let me see. So, oh my god. I think January, no. Okay, so, yeah, is this May? Yeah, I think May. In May, I gained 14 subs. The month after 400, the month after 142. You know, and a few other months I was hitting like 200 or so. So that's kind of crazy. And now it's just up there with like 2-3K or something like that. So something to keep in mind, I guess, if you ever want to make like a YouTube channel. It looks like old school is pretty much the only way really to grow. This does lead to like not that many RS3 video makers being out there, so maybe your name would get out there easier because there's not that many of them. But if you are looking to make a YouTube channel and grow it one day, yeah, it's kind of shitty because with RS3 it looks like it's not going to go anywhere. Well, that's not me saying don't play RS3 or don't record or upload videos or stream it. I'm just throwing out some statistics. That's all I'm doing, is just showing you what I went through, I guess, with it. And I believe I spent just about a year making RS3 Ironman videos. Purely just because I enjoyed it. I was obviously going for 5.4. Even though I told myself I wasn't, but low-key I definitely was. It was becoming so easy anyways. So I could see myself easily doing it. I don't know if I'm going to do that anymore. It's just a lot of like extra work and worrying of another account. And they still haven't fixed daily, so fuck that. Anyways, back to the main point. So yeah, I was at RuneFest, and everyone's there. Everyone played Ironman, or at least some type of old school account. So I was thinking, when I get back home, I think I'm gonna start an Ironman account. This is before hardcore obviously came out. A few months later, I was still feeling RS3. I wasn't really in the mood to do any old school yet. And then eventually, when hardcore came out, a lot of people were doing that. I kind of just turned a blind eye to it. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. I should have started then. That's what I should have jumped on. It wasn't that I didn't think it was gonna be fun. I was just too into my RS3 account. I'm not like most other YouTubers that make like old school videos or RS3 videos. When I make an account, dude, I plan on going far with that shit. I don't plan on just maybe maxing it or maybe getting like a high total then quitting it. I plan on like getting maxed and like going for a good rank after. So it was more of like, do I make this? Because if I do make it, I'm going to be going pretty long term probably on it. As you can see with my other accounts, this account's like almost 2 bill. RS3 Ironman's like 3.5 bill almost. So it's not like I'm just gonna make it and quit it 2 months later. So I wasn't too intrigued yet into the hardcore for old school. I was like, yeah, maybe I would do it and probably just die early, and then I don't know what I'd do after that. And it's also a lot harder to multitask old school versus RS3. Like there isn't that many AFK things. Like when I mean AFK, I mean like damn AFK, not just kind of AFK. So I was just like, meh, I probably won't do it yet. A few months go by, and I don't know, I think I returned a little bit to my main account on old school. I was enjoying it, and I'm not really sure why I felt like doing hardcore all of a sudden, but I just, I don't know, I just wanted to try something new. I was going to make an Ironman like the year before, as I told you, but at this point, and this is something I always get asked, is why would you make it hardcore if you don't plan on PVMing? Like I said, I was going to make an Ironman like a year before that. Wasn't yet in the mood, and then eventually when I felt like making an Ironman, hardcore was out, and I was like, okay, so if I make a hardcore, what happens when I die? And the answer is absolutely fucking nothing. And that's why I made my account hardcore, because I looked at it, I was just like, okay, so if you die, you can still use your account. You're just a regular Ironman. You don't lose any items. You don't lose anything. You lose nothing, which I think is a little bit of an overlook. From the Jagex team. I think there should be some type of punishment for dying on a hardcore. But because there isn't, I was like, well, why the hell would I make a regular Ironman account then? Like, I may as well just see how far I can get without dying. Whether I'm PVMing or not, just may as well make a hardcore, because there's no punishment. There's literally nothing. So when I did make the hardcore, I didn't really realize like how bad sometimes the servers were on old school. Like, it really does DC quite often. Because I played RS3 for like a year straight, and there wasn't really any DCing on that game at all. It sometimes disconnected, but very rarely. So then I started having to worry about things like DCing, because obviously playing a regular Ironman, it doesn't matter if it DCs anyways, I'd be fine. But I never DC'd anyways in RS3, and then as soon as I made hardcore and played old school on it, I started DCing. I was like, what the hell? And yeah, when I made my hardcore, I was very scared of even questing, dude. I had no idea like how to survive. I was like such a noob. I still am. I believe I went to sand crabs just to I was like, okay, I'm just gonna AFK sand crabs. Like, my initial idea was like, make a hardcore AFK sand crabs for like 2 months, and then make my first hardcore video with like 90 strength and attack and just all that bullshit, just so I'd be safer as well. And then I almost died at sand crabs. That was like 2 hit points, or like even 1 hit point at the starting of the account. I was like, what the hell? I can't survive. I didn't want to do the quest that put your HP up, the witch's house, I think it's called, because I wanted to do winter tot at a very low level, because I heard 1 or 10 hit point winter tot is great. So I was like, okay. Little did I know. Little did he know. D-claws. Okay, so little did I know that winter tot is absolute trash when you have very low total levels. If you guys ever do make an Ironman, do not go to Wintertot as soon as you can. It's the stupidest thing you can do. I don't know about like Ultimate Ironman, but like for Ironman and Hardcore Ironman, don't touch Wintertot until you're like 40-something farming, I think you need. I got like 0 Rainers and 0 Snapdragons from doing Wintertot to 97. Or to 92, actually, I think. The other 5 levels I did later on. But I got like 92 really early on. And then I realized like I'm getting no seeds. Like I'm getting shit seeds. So I thought maybe I'd play it safe with the whole 10 HP thing or 20 hit point thing doing Wintertot. But no, that was absolute stupid. So if I could redo anything, it would be that. Don't rush fire making at low levels. There's just no need. I mean, I didn't mind it though because I got some GP from Wintertot. It gives you like 5k, 10k sometimes. Not 10k, but like, you know, a few k GP, which is really useful at low levels. So I was kind of just doing it for that at that point. But as far as seeds go, I missed out on a fuck ton of Rainers and Snapdragons for literally no reason. So that was kind of a mistake. So I was stuck between keep my HP low and then like obviously you do waterfall quest when you make an Ironman. But I was like, what if I get one hit though? I don't want to restart an account. Even though like it would be like the best time to restart when you just started your account because it's like you lose like nothing really. But you know I didn't want to do waterfall because I was like, what if I get hit? I think those things hit like a 14 or something or a 15. I think it's 14. I'm not too sure. So I was stuck between like wanting to keep my HP low, but then also wanting to raise it so I can do questing. So I don't even remember what I did exactly. I think I did some quest eventually, but I waited till I was like 20 attack with like a mithril skimmy before I started doing like questing, like the quests you should do pretty much when you make an account to get your attacking strength up. So I didn't really do that many of those quests until then. So yeah, I was a complete pussy. I still am. I mean, I just killed Kraken, which is pretty difficult to be honest, but yeah. Anyways, as soon as I made the hardcore though, I was pretty hooked on it. I'm not really too sure why. I think it just felt kind of fresh, like doing, because like the era for me of RuneScape that I enjoyed the most, because I'm not a PKer, I will say this, was when we didn't have free trade. I hate free trade. It's just the stupidest thing ever. It's great for PKers obviously, and it would be like awful to PK without having it. But for someone that's a skiller, it's like the worst thing. I don't complain about it because I'm happy that the game has it. Obviously, it'd be better for me if we didn't have it, but it's like one of those things that like, you know, I'm not going to argue with because, you know, then every single PK would want to quit the game and it wouldn't look too great. So, but for like a perfect world for me would be no free trade in the game. I'm sick of alts and this and that and just all these things. Just blech. My favorite era was definitely, you know, before all this shit when everyone had to flip or merch, and if they couldn't do that, they would have to PVM on their main account basically. So that was like my era, and when I started my Ironman on old school, it felt kind of like that again. It was like, you know, this is the more difficult game, much slower rates, much more difficult, and there's no free trade. So it was just like the perfect thing for me. So I enjoyed the hell out of it. I think the first few days of hardcore, honestly, I didn't even leave my house. I was like, fuck the gym, I don't need that shit. So I think the first like 4 or 5 days, I left the house for food. I think that's the only thing I left for, which is, I mean, hey, it was fun, so I'm not going to complain. But I probably played at least 15 or 16 hours the first few days. Maybe even the first week, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the first week. It was just enjoyable, and I definitely didn't regret making it. I definitely didn't regret whenever I made the switch, I had to drop one of my accounts, which is the Gains account that I don't play on anymore. I might bring it back one day, but if I ever do that, I'm going to probably drop my RS3 Ironman if I ever bring it back, just to maybe do something on it. But I'm not going to do 4 accounts, especially while playing on a hardcore where I kind of have to pay attention sometimes if I do, you know, do any combat or things like that. Or just anything in general, right? You can sometimes just loaf around by accident and die somehow, who knows. So yeah, when I first made the Ironman, or the hardcore, I went in thinking, you know, it doesn't really matter if I die. I was like, you know, I was going to have that mentality, I thought. I was like, yeah, whatever, if I die, I die. It's not a big deal. I just wanted to make an Ironman account. And then I started looking at, like, the ranks, and I was like, you know, I have, like, pretty decent ranks for an account that I, you know, have only spent a few months on. And then I looked at my account, if I was to die, what would my stats and what would my ranks be then? It was just absolute trash, because, you know, Ironman's been out for, I think 3 years now, is it? I think 3 years now. So it was like 2.5 years in whenever I, you know, was like somewhat starting my hardcore out. And it was just trash ranks. I think some things I was like top 100 in, and if I died, I would be like top 5,000 or some shit. So I was like, I would hate to be on that high score right now because I started so much later than like regular Ironman, obviously. And it was just something that looked kind of a little bit better on the high scores. I know it's a cheesy way of looking at it, but like it's also like, 3 years ago this account was created versus like this account just being made. So I didn't want to be up against like, regular Ironmans, at least not yet, because I was so far behind. I felt like if I was to die, I would like force myself to no life more than I would want to, because I would feel the need to catch up to, regular Ironman accounts, and that would take like 2 years of no lifing, and I just didn't want to do that. So my goal then was just to like, okay, let's just stay alive then and have like some decent ranks. Because I did want to do a lot of Slayer as soon as I made my Ironman. I was like, this is going to be the account I do a lot of Slayer on. Slayer kind of got ruined on a main account in terms of like the XP rates. It's insanely high now. So I was like, I'm just going to do a lot of Slayer probably on this Ironman account. I learned pretty quickly which tasks were worth doing without really ever messing up and, bursting neck rails like some people. So I just said, okay, I'll do Slayer then. And, rank 1 Slayer was obviously still open for hardcore. It still even is now. I definitely don't have it locked down. Especially the way I'm doing Slayer now. Why don't you eat this? My mouse has been double clicking recently, so if you see some weird double clicks, you'll understand why. So yeah, then I pretty much established that I would want to stay hardcore for as long as possible. You already know I don't really enjoy PVMing. When have I really done much PVMing in general on old school? I think when God Wars first came out, I was doing a lot of Armadillo, made like 300 mil there or something like that, which was worth like 4 bill RS3 back then. I'm not sure what it is now, probably about half that. And I didn't really enjoy it that much. I was just kind of doing it because I was doing AFK skills in RS3, and I was like, I could make some extra money if I really want to. I didn't really need the money, but I was like, why not? It's just something to do. Maybe throw up some content for YouTube as well, versus watching me woodcutting on RS3 for a month straight. So decided to do some Armadillo. And I'm not really the biggest fan of PVMing in general. So I decided to pretty much just do skilling. I mean, I'm pretty much treating this hardcore just like a regular Ironman account. I don't really have much interest in PVMing. I do respect hardcores that PVM. I mean, don't get me wrong. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean I don't value it as anything or think it's worth doing or just think it's stupid. I don't have the balls to risk my entire account on a potential DC. I'm just not a fan of that. And there is a statement I made a few months ago. I made it multiple times in streaming. I don't know if I've ever said it to YouTube though, but it was every current hardcore Ironman that is PVMing is just a temporary hardcore. Whether they make a mistake or they DC, they will all be dead at one point. And that has definitely become true. No matter how good Adam, aka Bodhi, or Lake is at PVMing, they both died because it was something out of their control. And I don't really want to go through that. I'd rather just do what I'm enjoying doing right now and not have to go through a depression phase of hating Jagex that much more because I DC'd and it was out of my control. So, very true statement. Very, very true. I don't think we're really ever going to see any hardcores with like all the PVM items, and that's not because they suck. It's just because the server just won't hold up that long, and you're going to end up at one point DCing at a critical moment, and that'll be the death of you. So, I guess you have to decide when you make a hardcore is, do you want to just make the hardcore go for as many PVM items as you can until you die, or do you want to make the hardcore and just go for ranks pretty much, which, I mean, depending on the type of person you are, you could just do whichever one you want. So it is a turn on for me, not sexually necessarily, but sort of, is because whenever you die on a hardcore, you do stay on the high scores of hardcore Ironman. It just shows your name being scratched out, which I'm a big fan of that. I think that's awesome. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to see how far I can get with the Ironman or the hardcore. I think if hardcore died and then it would remove you from the hardcore high scores, I would probably then maybe not care that much. The reason I kind of like the way it is because if you die, however far you got, it'll be there for like forever, pretty much. It also proves that your account originally was a hardcore Ironman. So if people are comparing you to like regular Ironman, it's like, bitch, this account was made years after your account creation, so don't compare me to you, because you'd have proof that you would appear on the high scores for the hardcore. So that was kind of a turn on too. So for me, it was just I was thinking in my head, like, what if I get to like 100 mil Slayer XP? and then I die. Will anyone ever beat that? Like, if it's regular Ironman, you can always beat a 100 mil Slayer. You just gotta keep slaying. But will people get a 100 mil Slayer and never make a single mistake no matter what they're doing and reach a 100 mil Slayer? Who knows? I might have a chance of being rank 1 Slayer forever if I were to get a 100 mil Slayer. Because one, not many people might survive getting that far, or people might just want to go PVMing eventually and then die. So that was kind of an interesting thing. You might one day see a hardcore Ironman with 100 mil, I don't know, rune crafting XP even. I mean, that's not really a combat related one at all. But they might be rank 1 forever just because other Ironmen, besides just rune crafting, they do some combat stuff and they die by accident. And then, you might never be beat, right? Because on a main account, it's just, or an Ironman or main, it's just once you get 200 mil, you're locked in for a rank. But you might be locked in for a rank even at like 100 mil XP in a skill. Just because no one else might be able to get that far without ever dying. So that was something that was also kind of a little bit interesting, I guess, for me, is that, you stay there on the high scores and you can see, what ranks you have a year later to see if you would still be the rank 1 if you didn't die type of thing. I mean, it's kind of a useless thing to really care about or look at, but a little bit interesting to me. I have no idea how we're at 31 minutes now. I haven't really stopped recording at all. I mean, I paused it, but I thought maybe I was going to talk for a few minutes and then add a bunch of clips together eventually. But anyways, let's continue. So one thing I want to touch up on is the database stream review I did. Some people thought I was giving Matt K shit. I was laughing while not shit talking him, but just making a mockery out of the feather thing. Some people were like, why are you disrespecting him like that? What are you doing? And I was like, people view this as disrespect. I was laughing while doing it. People don't, it was strange to me. I was like, fucking Matt K. I was saying it like that and people thought I was serious. If you're serious and you really hate someone and you're saying something negative, you don't laugh while you're saying it, you fucking morons. See, I didn't laugh there because I'm actually pissed at you dumbasses. So it was I thought I was just making not a mockery of it, just I was lighting it up. I was making light of the matter. It was just this motherfucker got on a stream to show us how many feathers are in the game. Are you serious? There's so many interesting things that I would like to know maybe. In terms of items, and out of all things, I was told how many PRS and feathers are in the game. I just found it to be kind of funny. Here's some, just off the top of my head, some interesting things that they could have shown us. What's the average playtime for somebody 1,000 total and below, or what's the average playtime for a maxed account? What's how much money leaves the game every day from fixing Barrow's armor? How many Abyssal Tentacles leave the game every day, or whips, whichever one really. It's mostly Abyssal Tentacles. Just things like that. That's really just kind of it doesn't do anything. It's just really interesting to know. How much money is spent every day buying, Barrow gloves or, any gloves in general from that store. How much food is consumed in a day, in terms of all these healing things. Things like that would be damn interesting to know, or I don't know, little things like how many whips are in the game. I know things like that could be game damaging, but I don't think a whip really. I mean, we obviously know there's way too many whips in the game. I have 50 on my account. I'm sure a lot of people have 10 plus. My Ironman's got 10. I've got 50 on my main. It would be a huge number probably for whips because there's not that much of an item sync for it. There is, but there isn't. Something that would be very interesting to actually know would be how many deaths happen every day and how much money would have been lost if we didn't have the current death mechanics. They probably don't have a tracker for that, but that would be something that would just be interesting to know in general. Would be how many people have died with this much risk and only got it back because we have an hour death mechanic right now in the game. That'd be, I don't know, there's so many interesting things, man. This motherfucker told me how many feathers are in the game. Yeah, but anyways, so it wasn't at all out of a mockery of Matt K, or I was getting pissed at him. It was I just found it to be funny. I was sitting here expecting to know some really interesting shit. I got told how many feathers are in the damn game. Here's another one. How many fire capes have been traded in for the pet, and how many pets came out of it? Maybe that's interesting as shit, man. That'll get the crowd on their toes, man. Not this feather shit. So that's why I was just trying to make the video maybe more entertaining. I mean, if I'm not gonna sit there there's 17 trillion feathers in the game, that's interesting. How boring is that to listen to? So I just feel like I needed to say this because people, were like, why are you so angry? I think the number one thing that made people angry was so it was my first time recording with OBS, and I thought, like, if I record with Camtasia, it records my audio and the system audio, which is like if I play music right now, like I just start up a YouTube video, it'll capture that audio in a different file sort of thing. Where I can change the audio of it. So if Matt K's volume was low, I would just turn it up. But on OBS, it records both the audios in one, like, I don't know anything about recording and shit like that, but it records it both in one audio. So I can't, like, make mine higher and make his lower. So I had no control over that. So in the future, I think if I do that again, I will record with Camtasia, but I'll record with Camtasia for the audio, but I'll use OBS for the video footage. So I'm going to have to sync them up, hopefully, and it'll work throughout the entire thing, which means I can't really ever pause it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to mix and match nonstop. So I think that would have probably pissed me off as well, is, my voice being so loud all of a sudden and his being quiet. But it was either redo that entire video or just upload it as is. It wasn't so horrible. It was just sometimes I was a bit louder than I would normally be, and then he was still kind of quiet. So I think that's really what pissed people off. And I fully agree, that's my mistake. You learn from your mistakes. Hopefully next time if I do that, that won't happen. God damn, this task takes forever. In case you guys are wondering, obviously I've said this a few times, I bank everything from Slayer nowadays. I don't bring any alks with me. I have no interest in alking my shit. I just want to calculate how many drops I get from Slayer from here on out, pretty much, since 99. Take out my hop world. This is like a weird area. Sometimes if there's more than one person, it kind of gets a little annoying because they're spawned in such weird like areas. 73. Yeah, let's go here and definitely have a free world here. All right, never mind. Okay, this might take a while. Screw it. I can't find a world with just one guy. Anyways, returning back to the hardcore discussion. No more Matt K shit. So one thing I do get asked quite often as well is, will I continue if I die? I would like to think I definitely will. I'll be kind of depressed that I died. I don't know if I'll start a hardcore again in the background. I don't really think so. I don't know if I want to start this all over. I think I've spent... Pretty soon I'll probably reach over 2,000, maybe 3,000 hours. I have no idea how long I've spent on this account. It's been like, 8 months almost? I think we're approaching 8 months on the hardcore, so... probably over 2,000 hours at this point if I play, 10 hours a day maybe on average? Yeah, so should be over 2,000. Quite a bit over 2,000. I don't think I want to start over. Plus, like, starting a new account it's fun for like a day and then it's boring because it's the same grind all the way back up to here, and I don't want to do that. So if I do die, probably just continue as an Ironman regular. And then I will probably start PVMing just for fun, though. I don't think I'd ever really PVM for, like, efficiency. I guess I would do a lot of Zora and learn to do that. It's, like, to be honest, it's not even worth getting bandos on an account. I mean, it could take you hundreds of hours, and bandos won't make much of a difference when I do Slayer. It makes a tiny difference. The biggest difference when you're doing Slayer is your weapon. It's not your armor. People think it's your armor, but it's not. If I was to wear bandos right now versus, just this shit here, I wouldn't get that much more XP per hour at all. It would be a very small difference. If I was to use a whip here versus this arc light, that would be a pretty big difference in XP per hour. Or, a D-schemy versus a whip. There's obviously big XP rates, difference there. So, that's mostly why I haven't really bothered to even care about going for shit like bandos. Is one, it could take me hundreds of hours to even get it, and secondly, it could die obviously too from a DC or anything really. So it's not worth the time to get it. It's just a nice unique item to have on a hardcore. It kind of makes it look pro, and that's really the only reason you'd get it. It's not really even it's not efficient to even get it. It's kind of inefficient. It's kind of hard to base something that's RNG dropped on luck though, because I could get full bandos within the first 2 hours of doing bandos. It's a possibility. Then it would be efficient to get it, but it could take hundreds of hours. And plus, I'm not a fan of bandos. It's the most killed Gowers boss, and I'm an Ironman. Like, do you know how horrible that is? I'm gonna get crashed nonstop, and you also hop worlds for like 5 hours before you find a single world. I'm not a fan of that either. I've made this statement many times in my past, and it would be, I don't like how other players affect your experience of playing. And that's exactly what God Wars Dungeon is. If, you might get crashed by a team, especially for an Ironman, you'll get crashed. Like the update they did to Motherload Mining is I can mine over here with this guy, and it won't matter. I won't be taking his ores pretty much because it doesn't work like that anymore. So, it's just they made it more user-friendly sort of thing where like 100 people can mine the same thing, and it won't make a difference versus like one guy. So, it's kind of nice. So I do like instances for that reason, but instances do really crash items like crazy. I'm sure you guys have seen what's happened to the Dagonoth items, the rings. Those things have gotten a huge. I think they're like half the price they used to be. Should that update have happened? I would probably still say sure. It's probably more enjoyable for your typical player to do it nowadays versus before. You'd probably have to like hop like 100 times. You'd probably hit the hop timer as well, now that we have the little search thing. I do like the update they did where you can see how many players are down there. The little peak thing. That's a very good update. Very user-friendly probably, and like quality of life pretty much. Because before you'd have to like hop worlds, go down the ladder, pray real quick, hope nothing hits you, and then go back up, get out of combat, wait 10-20 seconds, and then hop worlds. And it would take you so long to find an open world as well. So that update was pretty big. So yeah, I'm not like the biggest fan of instances at all. The only way they could ever make instances like fine is if the items you get from it are like untradeable. That way, like you can go and do 1,000,000 Bandos kills in an instance. If you can't trade the items, it's fine. But like obviously, then who's gonna do it? I guess. But I guess for Ironman, it would be useful in that sense. Then you can never trade your Bandos from your Iron though to your main. But I think most Ironman would be completely fine with that. So like the only real reason they don't do instances everywhere is because of the economy. So if they were to make it so the items would be untradeable once you get them, I mean, I don't know. How would you even really do that? I guess the item could just be called like on RS3, if you win something from Treasure Hunter, it's called like Lucky Item. And you can't drop it, you can only destroy it. So you can't trade it, you can't drop it. The only option you get is destroy or use. So I don't know. I guess if you're an instance, maybe you would get a different name of an item like Bandos, I don't know, something, and then it would just be untradeable. It would look the same and everything, but then that like maybe I don't know. Don't let people bring them in the wildy, I guess. Otherwise, people can like kind of risk it, but not really. I don't know. This is like just out of topic completely, but they could do an update for instances like that where it wouldn't affect the economy. I don't know how many people that would do it besides just Iron Man, but it's kind of like the whole thing. I think the whole issue is like if you let Iron Man have instances, then like people might just make an Iron Man account and then do PVM on it and then swap the money over. So like it'd be kind of dumb. So that's why they don't really want to do instances for Iron Man. Instead, they prefer to give people names for people who rag them at like Corp and shit like that, which is it's completely unfortunate. I'm still kind of annoyed that that's like still a thing that's happening on old school where someone can come into the Corp room, tag your thing, and you're basically fucked. That's so shit. I mean, they could update that. So like the person would have to do X amount of damage or something like that, or a percentage. And then just fully ban any Iron Man that's abusing that. So like if you see an Iron Man tanking a boss on their main, just complete ban, just bye account. Maybe even buy both your accounts, man. Like if you're caught abusing it in some way like that, you know what you're doing. Just fully ban the accounts, get rid of them, and that nobody would ever really abuse it because they know they're gonna risk their account doing it. And if you ever get caught as well, because while you're PVMing, there's other people around you, so. If you ever get caught, screenshot taken, they look up your account and notice both your accounts are doing the same shit. Boom, bye-bye, 2 accounts, not just your Iron Man. And the fighting argument's always like, well, then don't make an Iron Man. But it's like, I mean, you're defending a ragger, like, don't make an Iron Man then. Like, are you kidding me? This dude's going out of his way to piss someone else off, and your excuse is don't make an Iron Man then? Like, please, I hope you never work for this game. With that mindset, this shit ain't ever going anywhere but down. But, yeah, so... I hope one day they do kind of change it so you don't really get ragged as a PVMer for an Iron Man especially. Maybe in general too, like for main accounts too. I don't know how often main accounts crash main accounts. Like I'm not around the PVM place that much, So I have no idea what it's like, but I often see people that are Ironman getting ragged. It's happened a few times to me, even at like Dust Devils in the catacombs, and I don't ever complain about that. I just hop worlds, I eventually find a new one. It is irritating, but it's something that's not a big deal because it didn't take me 10 minutes to set up my Dust Devil kills, you know what I mean? Like, it took me 2 seconds of luring them, and then if someone touches them and, they purposely crash me because they know I'm an Ironman, I just hop worlds, and it's not a big deal. Because there was no prep time for that, it wasn't like a huge piss off. It's still annoying, but I can live with it, I've never complained about it either. This hasn't been a complaint, this is just me walking you through what I do if it ever happens to me. But, when you're setting up a boss like Corp, it's completely different. I am losing my voice, I can already tell. My voice is going. This is like exactly what happens on my streams if I stream for a long time. Though on a video I'm talking non-stop, whereas on stream you can sometimes take a break from talking and let the music play. So let me just take a sip of this. I'm going to make some tea later on, I think. Freaking water is not good. What else do we want to discuss today? Right, so as I was saying from the starting of this ramble video, sort of, I do kind of want to do almost like a QA, like not like a like an actual question and answer type of thing. I think the first person I want to do this with is Soup. Believe it or not, I've never actually talked to Soup on microphone. I've talked to him on RuneScape, obviously, and IRL, but never on microphone. That's a really weird combo. You normally talk to someone on microphone before you talk to them IRL, but yeah, me and him, we just got a special bond, we decided to skip the whole 5 months of waiting. We just met up right away, at RuneFest, obviously twice, not just once, and maybe making these kind of like a monthly thing, maybe, or I don't know about weekly, maybe bi-weekly. I don't want to make them too often. I know this month I've kind of made quite a few just because I've wanted to do these for a long time. But when I first made, I guess this is going to jump into another story now. So, last year, when I was making my RS3 Ironman videos, I felt kind of distance away from my subscribers. I felt like I wasn't really ever talking about me and, how I feel and, just topics. All I was doing was pressing record, recording progress, and then stopping the recording. I felt kind of like I lost a connection with, my viewers. And it was something I noticed, and I wasn't very happy about. But I was like, I don't know, do people want to listen to me just talking? So I don't really know what to do about it. So I was just kind of making my own videos and doing whatever. But I didn't really like it. I was like, I feel like I haven't really discussed anything personal or just anything at all with my viewers, and it just kind of felt kind of weird. So when I started making these ramble-ish videos or talking videos, it seems like a lot of people like them, so I thank you guys for that. Give this video a like, by the way. If you're enjoying this, man, tap that like button. It's been 48 minutes almost of content this is not content. This is just a dude talking. I know the people that are watching 48 minutes, and they definitely got my back. They're going to hit that like button. Thank you very much. Right, so yeah, back to that. Yeah, I felt kind of lost almost. I was I haven't really talked about anything. Besides just a RuneScape and RuneScape progress. So when I started making some of these ramble-ish videos, I was like, I hope this doesn't become complete shit. Because if I was to make a video like this for high-level players, they would probably like it. But to make it for everyone, not everyone likes these type of videos. There's a niche for it. I like ramble videos myself. I'll listen to almost anyone ramble as long as they're not just completely stupid. So, I guess Soup might not be my first person on here. But as long as they have, a decent topic to discuss and it's something of interest to me, I guess, I like listening to them. Not even just, RuneScape streamers that do it or RuneScape YouTubers that do it. Just other things in general. It's kind of fun to just, instead of putting music on, I just, listen to a podcast or something. So it's kind of fun. I do watch H3 podcast. I started watching that a few weeks ago, maybe, or a few months ago. I'm not really too sure. But I kind of like them. I was like, this is kind of chill. It has nothing to do with YouTube or this or that. It's just kind of a chill thing. I think he normally invites a famous person or something like that, or someone who's well known on the internet, pretty much. Once again, I guess I can't do Soup. That ain't nobody know about him. So everything I discuss in these videos, I normally do think just thinking in your head. about these things. I just never really bothered to record them because I was like, that's not really content though. Like, that's kind of shit. People might think I'm like really shit because, back in the day I used to make like a lot more videos. And I'll be quite honest, I think the quality was quite shit back then. I was like, I'm taking a look now at them and just like, I can't even watch my own videos. They're just so shit. So whoever was subscribed to me back then, damn, you crazy bitch. I just wanted to step up the level of like rambling in a video and just turn it more into just pure content. But then I kind of got bored of that to a certain extent. I did that for like a few years of just like only content only, and not many discussions or talking. So now I'm kind of going back a little bit to the more rambly part, but not in like an actual progress video. My progress videos are progress videos. There's not going to be too much rambling in those, and I want to stick it to that. But I do want to sometimes make some ramble videos on the side, just discussing topics or updates or anything really. It can even be something not RuneScape related. Like, I don't know, I'll ask, I don't know, if I have Soup on here, I'll be like, all right, is watching porn while in a relationship, is that cheating? Like, just any topic like that that's kind of controversial and funny at the same time, What do you guys think about that, by the way? As far as the like views go, I don't really care that much about views. You're talking to a guy who, well, you're not talking to a guy. You're listening to a guy who willingly made RS3 videos for a year straight, knowing that the viewer count was much higher on Old School. So I don't care that much about like the views. I hope it doesn't get like 1K views. That's a bit, that's like Soup standards though. I can't be doing that. Dude, if I had Soup on here, I'd just be roasting him the whole time. He'd probably leave, dude. It'd be like half the freaking podcast would be me and Soup. The other half would just be me alone, because he would have left. I haven't told you guys, I haven't even told Soup this, but he reminds me of a friend I had in like grade 3 or 4. His name was Matthew. He lived very close to my school, and I used to, this is when the construction skill came out. I think I was grade 4 back then, maybe 4 or 5. I wasn't grade 3. I was grade 4 or 5, however long ago that was. And construction just came out, and I went to like his house after school to watch him play RuneScape. And if I was lucky, I would get to play on my account for like 10 minutes because I didn't have internet back then. So I would like log on to his fucking like the computer, like back then, like the 13-inch screen and like the big ass back to the computer, like the huge thing in the back, the weights, those things. So. Yeah, I don't know why. He just reminds me of that dude. He was kind of tall and lengthy. He was kind of retarded. No, that's not nice. I think he had curly hair, though. So, yeah, Soup has, like, no hair. So I guess there's not much of a comparison there. But, I guess they have their differences. I would talk about DVS, but he's so irrelevant now, man. He's just, can't be touching that, man. Anyways, moving on. I do believe, Jagex said that normally around New Year's time, they actually, they start doing some quality of life updates. I think last year, February, was like a few quality of life updates. They do like a month of straight quality of life. So I'm actually looking quite forward to that. I will always think quality of life updates, for the most part, even though some are a little bit above and beyond quality of life, sometimes they're just a straight buff, yes. But I do prefer them over updates normally, which sounds kind of weird, unless it's like a good update, like Inferno was a great update. Says the dude who's never stepped a foot inside Inferno, but I can still say it's a damn good update. But I do like quality of life updates quite a bit. They always seem to just have like a nice, I believe they're going to be adding the left click add spider egg, well, like the Tower of Life thing, the left click instead of using your spider eggs and the sardines on the altar, and that applies to all the altars down there, whatever the hell they even are. Little fountain thing, I don't know what they even are. What I do wonder is if they're ever going to add a left click a left click for the Zaya farming method, the Tithe farming, whatever the hell it is. Currently, if you go there and you want to do it, you have to like use your seed on the patch, and there's like a lot, there's like four patches, and you do like 16. Sometimes you can do 20 in a row, but normally people do 16. It's much more relaxed. And you have to like left click, use a seed, use your watering can on the patch as well. So it's a lot of clicking, and it's very unliked, or it's very disliked, I guess. I wonder if they're ever going to make that left click. When I was doing it, I was like, I can definitely see them doing this as a left click option in the future. I'm not sure if that would ever pass though. It probably would, because it's one of those things that's like not really OP. Farming is a weird thing, because it's like it kind of devalues farming a little bit, even though the method's like 1/10 of the speed of farming. Like, it's funny how that kind of devalues farming in a way for some people. But it would be a pretty huge update. I think that place would actually have some people there if it wasn't so click intense, I guess, click intensive. Because most things, you know, they've been making like more and more relaxed methods of the game. But that's something that's like that's almost like, it's not as many clicks as tick abusing, but it certainly isn't very few clicks, that's for sure. I don't really mind the way it is now, but I do think it would be quite popular if they did change that probably. I would probably like it if they changed it, but I wouldn't care if they did or not. I think I would devalue it a little bit, I guess. Maybe they could nerf the XP a tiny bit, like maybe make it 10% less XP per hour, and then with that you would get, you know, left click everything. Or they could make it so you unlock the ability to left click after getting like, I don't know, 1,000 points maybe. That's quite a bit. This thing here took me 250 points. It takes like 6 hours or some shit. So after 20 or 30 hours of doing it, you would eventually unlock left clicking. That way you're still kind of like penalized for like having to left click everything, or to use a can on everything and whatnot. But eventually if you do it enough, you get to do just left click. So I don't know, whichever one, doesn't really matter to me. That's something that I would view as it's in like the middle of quality of life and just a straight buff. It's less clicking for like the same XP rates if they don't nerf the XP. But it's, I don't know, it's one of those things. Alright, so I made this hilarious post on Twitter not too long ago, a little while ago. Just thought I'd bring it up. So I'm gonna, since you guys have made it 56 minutes into my video, I'm gonna spoil you guys with something. I'm gonna show you guys my Slayer tab, okay? And this is like from 11 mil Slayer XP, almost 12 mil, I think. Because you've made it this far, I feel like I should share this with you guys. So here, you guys ready? Bam! Look at that shit, eh? That's crazy, dude. Like, look at how many, like, damn, that many Rune 2-handers? I love it. I don't know how I came up with the idea. I think I was going to post my picture, but I didn't want to ruin a future video that I was going to probably make on my Slayer tab, or maybe a bank video. So I was like, you know, I'm going to just censor all of it and just, I don't know, it's stupid as hell. But anyways, wow, we're almost at an hour long. Alright, we're going to have to do it. If you have watched this far. What are we saying? Tim Hortons. There we go. Comment Tim Hortons if you watch. I'm going to show you guys how to spell it. Hortons. I think that's how, right? Tim Hortons. Hortons? Yes. What kind of Canadian am I? I'm just double checking. Like, I'm not even going to lie. I have an iced cappuccino beside me, and I lifted it up just to make sure I spelled it right. So if you watch this far, comment what the hell's in my chat, right? Don't comment what the hell's in my chat. I meant comment Tim Hortons. Motherfucker. Someone's going to say that stupid shit now. Right, so what else can we discuss for this ramble video? These are the type of, like, normally 1 hour is like the perfect length, because like if you make it like 2 hours, normally there's such few people watching at the very ending of it that like you're making like a 30-minute segment of a video for like 5 people to still watch, and it's like, I could, I guess, upload this in a different video and, you know, have more people, you know, listening to that segment. But, you know, an hour seems to be quite fine. Alright, I guess I'll put this to the test. So, is there anything that you guys would like me to cover in a potential, like, future ramble video type of thing? Like, any type of thing to discuss. My opinion on something, my views on it, if I agree or disagree with something, just anything. Maybe just ask me below. I'll bring this up in a future video probably, where, like, right at the start I'll just be like, hey, ramble video, I'm gonna make one later on, ask away. So you guys get your foot right in the door first. Tell me maybe what's interesting that you'd want me to discuss, and if I'm gonna be solo or not in it, I'm not too sure. It's nice making it solo, because like if I had to shit my pants, I could just pause it and then shit my pants and return. You know, but with duo, it's probably a lot more laughs in it. Like when I talk to people, we always end up laughing because I'm such a funny guy, dude. Like, whew. Reminds me of the Abdul days, man. When I have a few videos with him, I would normally just troll him. I trolled the shit out of him the one time, actually. I forget what it was. It was something to do with Smoking Kills Quest. I think I told him that he can go down that well If you guys remember RS3, where like the Slayer helm was kind of new relatively, and like Smoking Kills quest came out, that was a quest that you needed to do for the Slayer helmet. Whereas RS3, you just need to unlock it, I think, with Slayer points. I think on RS3 you have to do the quest and unlock it with Slayer points. So I was kind of surprised that they didn't actually bring back Smoking Kills quest. I thought they were going to bring it back when Old School came out with the Slayer helm. I wasn't disappointed that they didn't, but I think it would have been kind of cool just to reminisce on Smoking Kills. But anyways, I think I told him he can go down that well down there without doing the quest, and he had a cave crawler task, I think. And this is back when the meta was like cannoning cave crawlers for effigies. This is like on a new account that he made. When I made a new account, he made one like a year after or some shit, and he was trying to do it efficiently. So I had him go all the way to Polyvinch, and he brought like 2 ropes. I was like, grab like 2 or 3 ropes just in case that one rips or some shit. And he was trying to use the rope on the well for like a good 5 minutes. And then he's like, dude, you're such a liar. And then he found out that he has to do the quest to fucking unlock the cave crawlers down there. Yeah, anyways, just a random memory. This is actually one of my like first videos I've actually made when I got partnered or something. So this is like 7 or so years ago. How the hell do I remember this? Must be the fish oils. Anyways, I'm going to probably wrap the video up here. There's not much more on my mind at the moment that I would like to discuss. I'm sure there will be in the future. Just right now, I can't really think of any. I thought I was going to make this video in like 5 different parts, but I ended up just talking for a straight hour. I guess I could have streamed, but I've started making these ramble videos, I think, just because I almost view them as the same as streaming, just talking for like a long time. And I normally get asked quite a few questions, kind of like this on stream anyways. So I was like, I'm going to just like... Because it's very hard to balance streaming and YouTube normally. Like most people that become a full-time streamer, they neglect their YouTube channel, or vice versa. Though I don't think anyone goes from streaming to YouTube, normally because there's much less money in YouTube than streaming. So normally you just see YouTube stepping up to become a streamer eventually. But anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy. Don't forget to give the video a like. I'm gonna aim for like, I'm probably only gonna get like 1,000 likes, but if we can hit 2,000. I will definitely make another one somewhat soon, because that shit it's so weird how likes motivate you to make more videos. It's so strange. This is the best way of looking at it, I think. So and this is like a weird example, but it's with anything. If you're at the gym with your friend, and he's spotting you and he's screaming, you can do one more, you can do one more. He's like motivating you to do one more. That's like almost the same way as like the way I view likes, like when you're at the gym with your friend, you're both working out hard, neither of you are pussy ass lifters, and you both just bring it to the limit where you're like sweating your balls off pretty much. It's such a nice feeling, as opposed to sometimes being alone and not having that type of motivation there. So that's kind of what likes are like on YouTube. It just kind of like, it just motivates you, I guess, a little bit. It's like, yeah, thanks for the support. It's like that, how the basketball players slap their asses, or football players too, they give that little tap on the ass, like, yeah, good job, man. It's like that with the like. It's the same. It's like an ass tap, man. Ass tap my video, bro. Hell yeah, I've had my ass tapped a few times in football and rugby. Rugby is even worse because you could actually feel their fingers, man. With football, you got that little thing in the back there. You can't really feel anything. But with rugby, dude, they can really get in there. Anyways, catch you guys in the next video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the ramble today. And our sponsors are Tim Hortons. Thank you very much, Tim Hortons, for the shout out. Oh man, 6 left. I banked for nothing. Why does this thing tell me I have 16 left, man? I didn't have to bank. I could have just kept praying. But anyways, whatever. Catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Bye.